podcast. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host. Today, I welcome you to our episode 43, season 2. And we have a great guest today, and we'll cover digital transformation, manufacturing, as well as adapting the change that comes to the business world with AI. So let's welcome our guest to our virtual stage and we can start our conversation together.
Good
Hello,
afternoon,
Phil.
Kevin.
Welcome to the podcast. Hello. Good
Thank you.
afternoon.
Yeah,
How
thanks
are
for
you?
having me, Kevin. Very excited to be to joining your podcast and looking forward to our discussion today.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to have you today in the American Business Podcast and looking forward to learning from you. How is your week going so far?
It's been an exciting week. Actually, I'm just back from a training at one of the manufacturers we represent. I was pretty intense, learning about lots of new products around manufacturing, right? Components and sensor used for that. So I hope to share a little bit about it during the podcast today.
Yeah,
How was your week,
I'm
Kevin?
I'm
I
happy
hope
to
as
hear that.
exciting as mine.
I'm glad you asked, Phil. It was a great week. Let me actually share some also, what I done this week. It was actually pretty happening. I'm glad you asked. Thank you so much for these. So actually, I actually joined a couple of events, and I'll share some pictures also from this week as well because it was really happening. So this week, earlier this week, I had a chance to uh, join a Top Golf event, a marketing event. I also had a chance to make a presentation, so that was good. I had the chance to talk to our uh, partners, customers, channel partners, so that was really good. So this is this is a picture from the my presentation, and we also had a chance to play some golf. We had a chance to meet with some of our colleagues. So let's remove these, let's update these. So that was really good. It was a very friendly environment, and also of course when it comes to golf, then I had to also get my position and join in. So that was also good that I had a chance to play a little bit of golf. That was really good. And yesterday we also had an event. I had a opportunity to facilitate an event at HALI, Hapak Industrial Park Association, and that was also pretty good too. We had actually two presenters. They talk about uh, family businesses. We had Tildat Varon. Also, we had Michael Catherwood from Alliance. He also talked about the importance of trade credit insurance. So that was actually very educational. We had a nice crowd of business people join us from the New York metro area. So yeah, overall that was actually a pretty good week. And before 4th of July, I'm gonna join a couple of events as well. That's how it looks. So very happening nowadays. So yeah, going well. So no complaints.
Fun and busy times, right?
Yes, that's great. So yeah, there is 4th of July coming up. So that's gonna be also great. So looking forward to it. Sounds good. I think we can get started. We have a good list of subjects that we're gonna cover together. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our listeners?
Absolutely, Kevin. So my name is Philip Huber. I go by Phil, right? And I'm currently a senior automation sales engineer at Gibson Engineering. And what we do at Gibson Engineering is that we help our customer to solve their manufacturing challenges through automation solutions, right? So the company's been around for over 80 years as of this year, which is a great anniversary especially when you're in the field of automation. So it's been around for a while. The topic too, and our core business is basically to sell automation component through a consultative sales process for our customers, right? And customers can be the end users of those components. They can be integrators of those components where their machines are gonna basically like use them, or they can even sometimes be original equipment manufacturers, right? But with 80 years of experience, you build knowledge, right? And beyond offering those components, we can also do more beyond that, and we can bundle those components, pre-assemble them for our customers, even offer engineering services, right, especially for our end user customers, all the way to turnkey solutions when we are involved all the way until they start the right turn on the button, push the button and turn on the machine to start using it in their manufacturing solution, and of course supporting them afterwards. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell what we do. We're covering most of the northeast of the US, right from Maryland to Maine. So it's a large territory, and I have the pleasure to help our customers on Long Island and New York metro area. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Phil, can you tell us how did you choose to start your career?
Aha. So what I didn't mention in my introduction is that this is my first sales job, and prior to that, I did 15 years of engineering, right? So most of my career has been around designing those machines for the manufacturing processes, right? And in various fields, right? It was in semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, consumer goods. And that's the exciting part about being an engineer, is that you can see a lot of how things are made and even participating to making them. But yeah, I don't come from a family that had then much history of work within the industry. So the industry was kind of new for me, right? I fell in love with engineering because of my dad being a Formula One fan. So very early on, right, I was like, hey, I want to be the guy designing those like racing cars.
That's exciting.
It became actually a very relatable topic, as it's a very trendy passion now. Everybody heard about it in a way or another. But yeah, and the interesting part is that started very early on, right? And then you go through your teenager years, you don't know what to do. You're not sure if you're taking the right path, especially when you don't have the exposure to the different industries, right? And that counts for any job, by the way, right? Whether you're looking into manufacturing or into engineering or something completely different. But I had the chance to run into some amazing people, right, who guided me the right way, and guided me also, I would say, with the right approach, right, of giving you the freedom of taking the direction you want, but still, right, enticing you one way or another based on what they could see for skills and interest and things like that, right? So it is for sure, right, a journey, right? And I believe everybody has lived this right through their career. Especially early on, when you get through that journey, it's it is interesting in a way, and often we don't enjoy it. It's always worth enjoying it once you find the passion, right, and you work in that field. Absolutely.
Yes. Can you tell us about your work a little bit?
Yes.
What are the challenging parts and
So,
exciting parts of your work on daily basis?
yes. So now being more, using more like a consulting approach, right, rather than the hands-on that I did like 15 years prior. The challenge is also linked to like the fun aspect. Is the variety of applications, right? So you cannot be an expert at everything, but you have to build some expertise, right? And that's the thing, right? You using your base expertise on the engineering field or manufacturing field, but also always learning from your customer, learning from your contacts, learning from your coworkers on what can be done, right? Everything's based on listening, right, and understanding. And the challenges nowadays are around like the pace and the quantity of information, right? So there is a lot of information that comes at people, and the pace now, especially with technology helping in a way, it can be a curse, right? There is a lot coming, but it's coming fast, and you have to make sure that you don't take too much of the noise, right? So focus on the solutions, and focus on what matters at a day-to-day approach on every project is really what's important, right? And yeah, that's a good way of like overcoming those challenges, right? and when you're interested in technology, when you're interested in solving problems, the true challenge is to say, oh, let's not go in all directions, right? Let's not get lost. So focusing is becoming a big part of, right, not only the current job that I'm doing, but of every engineers nowadays, to make sure that, right, you deliver what matters, and you deliver what solves the problem that's been presented to you, right? So yep.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, let's talk about manufacturing a little bit, to be more precise about the US manufacturing.
Yes.
So, US manufacturing is very important for the economy, and you are very close to US manufacturers. And I have special interest in US manufacturing as well myself. And you work with manufacturers very closely, pretty much on daily basis, because
Yes.
of your job, your profession, as well as your passion to assist manufacturers on daily basis. So, having said that, how do you see the state of US manufacturing in general, and what type of challenges and opportunities you see
Mhm.
they have?
Yeah, so it's well and alive, right? And I think we don't say it enough, how lively that the manufacturing is in the US, and that's what makes it really exciting. Yes, there are challenges, and they're impacted at different levels, right? A lot of us know about like the geopolitical impacts, right? Of all of that. But on a day-to-day challenge at the manufacturer level, there's some trends and keys that are like beyond like the external influence, and it's not always demand, right? It's a lot about resource, but when people mention resource, they mention skills. I call it expertise, and not only is it a challenge, but it's also a risk, right? When you leave a lot of over the years, and that's the result of like we're talking 40 years of, right, the way that the economy has been guided, and on a global level, the some area in the world have this developed expertise, which is great, and even the US on the US manufacturing continues to develop their own expertise, but you're also losing other type of expertise. The risk is that loss of certain type of expertise because the parts are not made around here anymore, right? But in other part of the world. So you have that is a challenge, because you would run like things like reshoring, topics like innovation, right? You're gonna run into those projects and say like, oh yeah, right, how did we do that, or how can we solve that problem? Oh, it's something that someone should know how to do this, right? And then you realize that it's not those type of parts are not made in the US anymore. And the struggle is not to get the part, right? Yes, you can always say they're right, like logistically, you have the challenges like we had like with COVID or even after, but it's more about the expertise. Who has the knowledge about it? How long are you gonna look around for the knowledge? Because this is really like the time saver and the value creator, right? But on the other hand, what I'm seeing, especially locally, it's a lot of innovation, right? A business really thriving on value creation, right? And innovation, and this is great to see that, like as technology evolve, as our world evolves, and there are other, right, like type of products needed, or type of lifestyle that require, right, like different products or different problems to help society. We are in the US like up to the challenge and building up this new knowledge that's needed, and that's something that, right, when we talk industry manufacturing, yes, you have the product, that's the end result of the manufacturing, but key to a good product, key to the right product, is the expertise, the knowledge into it. And it's great to see that, right, like still very active, but it's also great to see that our local schools, local companies, there are lots of efforts made to keep up with those skills, even maintain certain level of skill set that are needed to to back on this innovation capability. And so yeah, I have a positive outlook. You're always going to have challenges, right, of any sorts. But it seems that to me, like, the US manufacturing is up to that challenge, and well, they will succeed. They will. It's all about like keeping up with the enthusiasm, right, with the goal. So I'm a very positive person from that perspective on the outlook of the manufacturing. Yes.
Yeah, this is actually important that you mentioned. So when we talk about challenges, there are also opportunities, and I'm glad that you
Yes.
mentioned that. And also to your point, absolutely, the American manufacturing is live, active, growing, and for the next generation professionals, it's actually more attractive than before. That is something that I closely support and be active in terms of promoting U.S. manufacturing, especially to the next generation. And I'm glad that we are sharing this in this podcast, because this is the American business podcast for the next generation, and there's a great opportunity to promote American manufacturing and talk about this to next generation. Actually, the American manufacturing is important. The work environments are much better than before, and they can really build a great career. A couple of weeks ago, I had a chance to actually host Robert Kaufner from the Designtronics Inc. And we talk about the similar subjects in terms of promoting manufacturing as a career path to next generation workforce. And this is a great opportunity that I'm happy to talk about this with you. So that's great that we are also putting it out there and sharing it with our audience. Okay, well, I like to shift our conversation towards AI a little bit. So AI is a popular subject that we talk about this on weekly basis, and every week I learn something new myself, and then we share some ideas, and we read in news about different developments coming up. So let's talk about, as a start, let's talk about AI and impact of AI from the manufacturing point of view. So how do you see the AI is changing American manufacturers and businesses in general? Are they
Mhm.
adopting AI based on your professional observation? And what type of change that you are observing in manufacturing ecosystem with AI?
Yeah. So you have, right, like, and AI is a vast subject
It
because
is
of the many applications, right?
true.
On the business process level, right? And you know certainly more than I do on the business process level. There is adoption, right? And it's a natural, I would say, a natural add to the toolbox, right? When you have already ERP systems, planning systems, right, and such. And I heard mention excellent examples of that in previous podcasts with your previous guests. I'm going to focus more on like the manufacturing part, right?
Let's do that. Sounds good.
And I know Robert touched base, right? Like there was
Yes.
like some mention of it, like with robotics, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've seen excellent demonstrations of that, right, at the partner training that I just went to this week.
Mhm.
um, the and it really brings in all different aspects of AI, right? Because, as we say, it's a vast subject. But even agentic and generative AIs are used right now on manufacturing level, um, especially when you want to do diagnostics on your hardware, diagnostics of your production line. You have the ability now, right? You always had, let's say, you always had the availability to take some kind of data from the sensors, from the various hardware that you have, right? It used to be a very cumbersome, work. You needed to have like special, either in-house specialist, or like, ask for like a third party that will draft a humongous project, right? And I mean, it's the commitment. You still need the commitment, but the commitments was always like very large, right? Now with those tools, now you start to have access to creating your own dashboard, and you don't need to be a programmer anymore, right? It's literally prompting. right?
True.
Like, hey, I know I have like those on my line right now. I have the 6 sensors monitoring the boxes and all kind of things, right, on the conveyors. Please, create me a graph that's renewed daily on how many boxes of this size did the sensor go, how many times the sensor failed, how many times my line stopped, right? So those are the kind of thing where prompting, now you can prompt that and you don't have to, right, to have a programmer on hand to do this. So that's
True.
that's one aspect of it, right? So
Mhm.
so it is linked to business processes because it's going to give you like key information for your your manufacturing process improvement, and down the road, right, help you with your ROI, help you with your targets, right, from an economic standpoint. Now, the other types of developments around it is also deployment of the solutions, right? So when you have like complex solutions, like you want to do advanced inspection with cameras, for example, same, right? Like it used to be, oh, I need an engineer for a week to prepare all of this. Now you are able to do that pretty quickly, right? With like literally categorizing certain things, right? You teach a few pictures. 10 years ago, you would have to teach hundreds of pictures. Now you're teaching a dozen, and the model already understands it, right? What
Mhm.
is a good part versus a bad part, right? So you have all these kind of things where, right, the different expertise of AI, where it's machine learning, edge learning, right, start to combine towards the user experience. So you don't need the same level of advanced, right, skill set and trained skill set that you would have needed prior. So that helps you with your resource, but also the speed of deployment, right, and versatility. A lot of the manufacturers, especially in the Northeast, are like more towards like high value. So you have a high mix of production, right? So on the same line, you're gonna make, yes, the same type of parts, but often the dimensions are going to change. You're going to have variations, right? So now you're able to use the same piece of automation and adapt it, right, faster to those changes, right? So you have like a lot of evolution like that makes automation. That's the holy grail. We're not there yet, right? But to make the automation adaptable, right?
Mhm.
And that goes, and the other thing where AI helps is not the AI itself, is the push for more processing power, right? That is
Mhm.
driven by AI. More processing power allows you also, like on a lot of your controls and machines and things like that, to process more data, process it faster. But that also is going to help you in, right, simplifying the way you teach, being more modular, easier to reassign for your production. So yeah, very, very, very vast topic. If you want, we can do an extra half hour on that one. But
Absolutely,
yeah,
I'm sure we can. Yeah, I have no doubt.
I gave you some examples, right? Not
Yeah,
be
that is
too
true.
overwhelming here.
It's fascinating. I mean, it's a fascinating
It is
subject,
fascinating.
and it's good. I'm happy to see it actually in practice.
Yeah.
And to your point, and I was talking about with some of our colleagues and guests before in the podcast as well. So none of these technologies run by itself, at least at the moment, right? The enterprise business software systems, manufacturing systems, advanced pen and scheduling systems that I'm really fond of. So they all need to be configured and
Mhm.
implemented in a way that it'll work for that organization. But now with the AI, things are getting faster, more efficient. And to your point, there used to be more teaching required for these systems. Now it takes less time, learns very quickly, and keep learning. That is the good thing about it. So this is really exciting. So here is the $1 million question. So
Oh,
will AI replace humans and jobs?
so it will displace jobs, right? So that's what we can see, right? Because often, like, and it was the case with automation since forever too, right? You go for the low hanging fruit, you go for the repeated tasks, so that you can reassign, right, your resource to more value added task, and that's what's going to happen naturally with AI, right? Happen with the introduction of the computer. So you're going to displace, right? There's going to be a big need for like updating skill sets, right? And that's the challenge, the speed at which it's going, right? To make sure that like you build up your talent around that, despite like the rapid pace. But yeah, mostly displacing, right? And enhancing jobs, right? The especially in manufacturing, right? At engineer levels, it's already happening. Technician levels, and a couple of the examples I was giving before, this is really right at technician level where now you enhance, and instead of like right, like exhausting your brain power towards how am I program these things, you can really focus on solving the solution, right? Like what am I trying to do with this piece of automation, this component, and you can leverage the most out of it because you have to focus on right the end result, rather than like how am I going to tie it up or cable it and all those other challenges, right? So that's really the direction I see it going. There's going to be, right, you hear me saying about pace. Yeah, it's not going to be all happening like fast all at the same time. There's going to be, early adopters are going to go fast, right? And then eventually the rest of the field will keep up. We have to keep in mind that, right, no matter what, it's technology, you have to have capital expenditure allocated to it, right? And with the high exposure of right, like everybody talks about AI right now, it's important not to forget that when you implement solutions like that, it's here, you do it because you want to solve a problem, right? You don't do it, yes, certain companies, because you want to be ahead, you're going to start like to dabble with it, right? So you can gain expertise, and we, right, like that's one of those topics. But from a, right, like from a day-to-day manufacturing operation, what you're doing, you're trying to solve a problem, you're trying to enhance your manufacturing, right? And that's something that shouldn't be lost, right, from when you start to look into those kind of considerations. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked the same question to Robert from Designatronics a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, I mean, his answer was straight no in terms of whether AI replace humans and jobs or not. How about combining it with robots? Is it going to change anything in your view, or how quickly is it going to change?
It's same, it's going to evolve, right, at different pace depending on right, like the commitment, because now it starts to be like more, at least at the beginning, right, skill needed, right? There are lots of companies around the world who like say, okay, we are working on robots coupled with AI to try to simplify the deployments of them, right? And then you're gonna, right, and same, you're gonna go for like the things that are obvious, right? So you are going to displace jobs. One example I can think of is like food preparation, right? Where or you're gonna make certain type of automation much more affordable, accessible, and flexible, right? Because if I stay on the food prep, yes, I can automate right now food prep, right? I'm going to give you a machine the size of my office that is only going to process the carrots, and you're going to have to pay a lot of money, right, for that one, and you better process a lot of carrots, right? But now with the robotics, now you enter like the thing of flexibility and teaching it faster, right? Like so that's really like what you have to look at. So it's more about enabling now, in the future, right? And that's probably a trend I see over the next like 5-10 years, to now start having robotics going into not purely industrial settings anymore, right? And enabling also smaller organizations to have automated processes, right? And again, it's all about flexibility. And this way you can, it's easier to manage your resource, it's easier to reallocate your resource, and to have them like focusing really on what makes the value of your company, right? So that's how I'm seeing also that field progressing right now.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very exciting. And I believe it was last week. No, the week before last week. Actually, we had a conversation with some of the experts in HR and staffing, and they mentioned that some of the organizations, they are updating their organization charts, and they are putting AI agents, AI employees into the organization chart. So there
Yep.
is Kevin, there is Phil, there is John Simit,
Yep.
and there is the AI agent Jennifer, and then David, and so on. So
Yep.
it's actually getting into the organization chart. That's
It
also
is.
pretty big change when you think about it.
It is, it is. And they're like, and next step you name the robot. I mean, we already name robots, but that's more for fun.
Yeah, yeah,
We're not in the organic realm right now, right?
that's for sure.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. Not that, and that's true, right? And having worked prior in larger organizations, you have those agents like basically taking a full set of I wouldn't say like I mean yeah skills, but more basic skills, right?
Mhm,
That a full department or a full group can lean on to,
mhm,
and that is like pretty powerful, right? Where for example, when you have like thousands of product in your portfolio, yes, your most experienced, right, like people are gonna look at an application and say, oh sure, I can pick that. Right? But what happens when you have like retirement turnover, right? So
mhm,
it's a lot about like knowledge management and knowledge, right, like keeping,
mhm.
and that's where like those right solutions become actually a critical part of the organization. Yep. But as you say, it's all going back to data, so you better have your data straight, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Garbage in, garbage out. So it better be,
Yep. Yep.
organized data. Good. That's good. So, let's talk about your role model. So you have years of experience, professional experience. Have you had any role models that you can share with our
I have
our audience?
I had a few. I had one in particular, my team leader Chris, when I was at ASML. He was he taught me how to be a good engineer. Let's put it this way, right? But in such a casual way, right? It was always about like the project we're on, look into the details, and just like don't get overwhelmed by the details, right? He had like that thing, and I'm sure like other engineers have heard of that, where you need a requirement, but you don't know how to characterize it yet. And everybody has that. You do that, right? When you put specification for a customer, you're like, hey, the customer knows that they will have to give me that. We don't know yet. They don't know because they don't have the experience, or we don't have like information to back it up. Put something in there. Keep it on your radar. And right, we used to have the acronym WAG for wild ass guess, but we knew it was a wild ass guess because we needed to fulfill it, right? But and that's the kind of thing is right, like in manufacturing, especially, and that's what he taught me the most, right? I didn't realize it back then because I was like a junior engineer starting in my career, focusing on my little right piece of that machine. But it's important to make sure you understand what's around and understand what matters, right? And when it will matter, right? Because you can say, okay, back to the point of being overwhelmed with information, right? We know this is going to be a critical piece, right, for our manufacturing operation. We can afford to get the project moving for the next, let's say, maybe a month without knowing it, right? But let's not lose it. And that's the kind of thing that's right, like to me important now at a larger scale, because that's how you develop the expertise, that's how you develop like the value, right, for all the manufacturers that are here. That's what you sell the expertise, and developing it takes that like process, that demeanor of not being overwhelmed, looking at the problem, going through it, right? And that's an amazing that's an amazing set of skill that I'm super grateful Chris taught me early in my career. And I probably, like, if you ask him today, he's going to be like, I didn't teach that to Phil, because he did it in such in a casual way that it was natural. Right? So
Yeah, it is
yeah.
actually fascinating. I mean, during our career journey, we
Mhm.
meet with different professionals, senior than us or our peers, and so on. And it's amazing to see like how they are touching your life, by
Yes.
knowing or not knowingly, that because you are working together and you learn, and they
Yep.
open certain doors to you because of the knowledge that you get from them. That is
Yes.
fascinating, and I'm glad that you
It
share
is
that.
it is fascinating, and
Yeah.
it's always right, like especially when you're about mentorship, people shouldn't forget that it's also both ways, right? The person that receives it needs to be open to it,
Yes.
right? And that to me, like if there is what that's one big piece of advice I'd like to give to people who are like early career and getting into it, right? And again, has nothing to do with manufacturing in particular, right? Like whatever career path you take, when you have recognize when you have the chance to run into role models, right? And sometimes it's through your job, sometimes it can be like just like right random,
Mhm.
but be open to receive all these like valuable information and valuable teaching, right? So
Mhm.
very
Let,
very important part.
let's talk about career lessons, key career lessons learned. Would you like to share any lessons learned with our audience and
Lesson
our
learned.
listeners?
Oof. I feel I learn a lesson every day. But that's the point.
That is true. It's
Lesson
ongoing,
learned.
right? That's true. Good
Don't be
point.
afraid of anything, right? If you start to be like, hey, I'm not comfortable with right like this topic, not comfortable, right, or something like that, and you just like disappear, you just missed an opportunity to learn, right? So and that's that. And early career, I had a lot of those cases. It took me 10 years to realize like, hey, you know what, it's right, not that I wasn't putting myself in this less comfortable situation before, but it's also about recognizing them, right? And that is something that's right, as for career lesson, right, is very very important. Even then, right, like on a lot of right, a lot of time you want to say, okay, especially early career, I want to grow my expertise, I want to focus on what matters, and then you hear the other things and you're like, what is this about, right? Like for like me, for an engineer, starting to hear about like accounting information, right, where I'm like, why? But then you realize the importance of it, right? And those are the kind of things where it's never too early to be open to those life lessons, right? Because they come on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
That is true. That is true. That's why it's
Yep.
important to keep an open mind. So that really helps. Yeah. Well, what are your biggest passions and interests
So
outside of work?
as much as I love manufacturing and love like like fixing things, understand how things work. I My way of right like relaxing and is being outdoors and gardening, right? And but funny enough, at the end of the day, right, and that's something same, right? Like coming a little. Some people are gonna be open to that early in their career. You realize like how much you can take nature as an example for solving problems, right? It's here, it's in front of you, it's every day. Uh, it's
That's a great example.
unpredictable
Yes.
in ways, but until it becomes predictable, right? And it's a school of patience, right? You're working on the long
Mhm.
term, right? Unlike on our day-to-day jobs where we're like more focused on like right faster result, faster pace. That basically, that's
Mhm.
why I like that hobby. It's like it's balancing out right a lot. And another big hobby that's a more recent one. As I was looking for being more involved with the community, I got the opportunity, and I'm very grateful about that, to be part of a charitable organization called Open Door Exchange, and we're a furniture bank on Long Island, and basically the idea is right, we can pick furniture from people, right, like you and me, who are like, if I don't want my kitchen table anymore, or I'm moving out, and I don't know what to do with it, and it's in a good shape, right, we can take that, we put it in our warehouse, and we have people from all kind of like experience in life and experience and run of life that are referred to us, and can come and get this furniture for free, and knowing that you can support right like a veteran, or someone whose house, like unfortunately, like burned down, or like a single mother, with
Mhm.
having some decent furniture, right, a decent standard of living in their apartment, is something that's like really 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 good, and especially because right, we're on Long Island, so you know that you impact the community both ways, right? And for someone like me who likes
Absolutely.
nature, knowing that, right, there are also like furniture that doesn't end up on the landfill is another
Mhm.
part of the reward, right, of all of that. So it's
Just makes
yes,
sense.
yes,
Correct.
yeah. And if there are
Yes,
people from the area who are
absolutely.
listening to us, and I hope there are many, uh, uh, go Google
There are
Open Door
many. Yes.
Exchange. We're in
Me-
Port Jefferson, and we're looking for volunteers.
Okay.
Like
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
growing.
I'm
Yes,
glad you
yeah.
mentioned that. Mhm. Yes. Can you
Yeah,
share the
absolutely. So
website
I mean,
again, please?
it's opendoorexchange.org, but if you go on Google and you type Open Door Exchange,
Okay.
right, like in these three words, you'll
Mhm.
have all the information, right? Everything about what we do, how we're organized, the life of the people impacted, and more importantly, how you can help
Mhm.
us, right, with volunteering and donations. And yeah, it's I wish I wouldn't have to say that, but there is more and more, we're needed more and more, right? And So that's a growing need that I wish wouldn't be the case, but
Mhm.
we are
Mhm.
helping a lot of families right now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually a couple of months ago, I had a chance to facilitate a meeting with non-profits, meeting with manufacturers of New York metro
Wonderful.
area. So then that was a great opportunity for introducing non-profits, their causes, their needs, what they do, to manufacturers as well as businesses and professionals in general in the region. And that was a full
Yeah.
house. Many people came, and we met with many different non-profits that I didn't know they existed actually. So that was a great opportunity, and I didn't know you actually involved with these non-profit. That's a great opportunity that that we talk
Absolutely.
about
Yeah.
these and and
Yeah.
and share with our audience. And yeah, I mean, when you are around good, only good things happen. That was my lesson I took during that
That
meeting
is
with
true.
non-profits, because it was
Yeah.
just good. I mean, the those missions that non-profits have, that just designed to help community, and we don't talk about profits, we don't talk about anything like that. This is just pure good, just you just help communities, and that is it. And I saw these professionals and leaders of non-profits, and I've seen their passion to help communities in different ways. That was inspiring, and we need to be involved with non-profits more often than before. So that is really important that we actually
Absolutely.
share with
Absolutely.
our audience. That's
And
that's
right,
that's
to
really important.
get like towards like
um,
that point, like Long Island is an extremely active territory for nonprofit, which
yes,
is great to know about, right? So it's compared to
true.
other places in the U.S. We have a lot of nonprofit organization, and they all have a great purpose,
Mhm.
right? And they're all very active. And
True.
but it's great to hear because it tells you how much community matters, right, in the area. Yeah. Yeah.
True. It does, absolutely. I 100% agree. Well, as a professional, you wake up every single morning, go to work, you work with manufacturers, you address their challenges, you help them adapt digital transformation. Um, how do you stay motivated? How do you
So
stay
in
inspired
in in,
on
in
daily
case you
basis?
haven't noticed over the past half hour or more, I'm all about
I
learning,
know.
right? So I'll take everything as a learning experience, and that's the thing, right? Like good or bad, it's always, you're always gonna learn something, whether it's for your personal growth or for fun, or right. So that's basically how I'm looking at it. And that's why for all those years I loved like being hands on, right? And even then, like in some way, my current job, when I go testing something with a customer or even support them, right, like on a machine, yeah, I still have a little bit of that like hands on uh, approach, and you always make a learning, right? Even on the non-engineering part, right, where the everything's an
Mhm.
experience. This is an amazing experience. Never had the opportunity to try a podcast before, right? So and that's the thing,
Yeah, it's an
that's
honor.
what's fun,
Thank you,
right?
thank
That's
you.
what makes
Mhm.
life fun. We like to
Mhm.
enjoy things outside of work, but it's even best if you take an approach like at work, that right? You're going to learn always something valuable from anything, right? Anything that happens to you. Yep.
Yeah, I know we pass our time, but I love to get your wisdom and help you share with our audience if that's okay. So before we end our session, what are your career advice for the next generation professionals who are thinking about getting into manufacturing and manufacturing technologies? Can you share some of your insights and wisdom during our conversation? But as a final note,
So
what are your career
don't be
advice for them?
afraid to experiment, right? So and some people, right, and it doesn't mean that you have to go in all direction. That doesn't mean that you have to have like a right fluctuate various career path. Some people are going to very quickly find what they love doing, and they're going to say, I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to just like build my career on it, and it's absolutely amazing. To get there, you will have to experiment, right? And for others, like the experimentation lasts a little longer, right? But it's that's the thing. Experiment, be open to right the experience that you have, and know yourself. Know yourself. That's a big one, right? Because often you're gonna think you like certain things that you're doing until you don't. uh, and
That's true.
but
That's true.
naturally, right, like having an open mind, and I see that even like I've seen with colleagues, I've seen with customers, I've seen it with myself, just on a training purpose. When someone comes right to a training session of any kind, with an open mind, that person's going to retain much more than anybody else is going to come here to that training and say like, why am I doing this, right? And that's a big. It's all about the mindset, right? So that's a big thing. We have the chance, especially like in a country like the US, right, that you can have access one way or another, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to go to like a top university, or that you have even to go to like an undergrad school. You will have access, especially in manufacturing, to machinery. You will have access to companies. Companies are more and more open, right? And you, again, you heard it, like I heard it in your previous podcast, right? To share with, especially with younger people, what they do, how they do it, how it works. Take all that opportunity, and keep an open mind, and you'll find what you like, and then you can do an amazing career, especially in manufacturing. Lots of opportunities.
For those who are listening and watching these podcasts, if they like to learn more about you, your organization, get in touch with you, what is the best way to
Absolutely.
be in
So
touch with you?
to know more about what we do at Gibson Engineering, right? Very simple. You go to our website. It's www. I have three W's. So www.gibsonengineering.com. And I believe like it was written in the right, like in front of, next to my name. So for the word, it's in one word, right? Gibsonengineering.com. So that's about my company. And myself, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, right? Same, my full name, Philip Huber. You look for me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to connect with you and discuss about everything, including gardening. So.
That's great. Phil, thank you so much. I know we passed our time, but it was a great conversation. Thank you for being with us in your busy schedule, and thank you for sharing
Absolutely. Thank you,
your wisdom
Kevin.
with us. Thank you very
Amazing
much.
initiative. It was an honor to be part of it, and you will be doing well, and I hope that your listeners like will all like take that great path into a career into manufacturing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure is all mine, and I wish you a great weekend and
All
a
right,
great
you too.
4th of
Thank you
July
very
coming
much.
up.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye now. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, we had another great, informative podcast episode at the American Business Podcast. I hope you like it and you had a good time and you learned something new. Well, as I always say, you always learn something new in our podcast. Something, at least one thing or at least two things, but you'll definitely learn something new because we keep it informative and educational. That's important. Also, we always invite experts so that we can learn from them. That's the idea, and today that's how we design it. So I hope you like it as well. Also, I like to thank you for your support. We just passed 60,000 YouTube subscribers on YouTube. Thank you very much for your support. And it's growing very fast. It means a lot to us. Your support means the world to us. We truly appreciate it. If you haven't done so, please go to our YouTube channel. We also have a QR code right here that you can easily scan on your phone by using your phone. So we truly appreciate it. Please subscribe, like, be part of it. It is important that we get your support on YouTube. So thank you so much, and thank you very much for your support and for liking. Would you like to be a guest in our podcast? Do you know someone who likes to be a guest? You can send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We keep an open mind. Please reach out to us. Every single profession has a wisdom, and if you like to put it out there, share it with our other professionals, with the next generation, you can just send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We are also open for any feedback that you like to share. What do you think about this podcast overall? Do you have any idea or subject matter that you like us to cover? Please talk to us, send us an email. We truly appreciate those feedbacks that you send. And for those who are in touch with us, I'm sure they know, and I like to also share it with you. We are very responsive, because that is how we design our podcast, with your feedback, with your insights and input. That's critical for us. So we welcome you to get in touch with us. And if you like to see what is coming in our business podcast schedule, you can visit our official website. It's americanpodcast.tv. When you log into the website, you'll see the schedule right there on top. You'll see what is coming, who will be our guests, what type of subjects we will cover in our podcast, and you'll be able to see it and join us and watch on YouTube, LinkedIn, and other social media channels that we have. Also, one final note, we have a actual sponsor, IP Vanish VPN. So if you're looking for a VPN, you can consider IP Vanish. I use IP Vanish as well. It's a solid system. I also put their link as well that you can connect. You can learn about IP Vanish with this link, and if you're interested, you can subscribe and consider as a VPN software solution. Well, I think we cover a lot today. I hope you like this episode. So I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. Looking forward to having you in the coming American Business Podcast episodes. Thank you very much and have a great weekend.